All right, for today's episode of the Wisecracker, we taking it down to Southern California, right? And I got a business owner and a lover of people with me. What's good, David? How we doing?
What's up, man? I'm doing great.
All right, no worries, brother. I be mindful of your time. I know you got a windshield right there, and you're getting ready to work on this beautiful Monday morning. So let's start it out quick, man. And let me ask you this: what's the story behind Bye Bye Crack?
Oh man, it's a little crazy story. So I used to do vending machines,
Mm-hmm.
and through the pandemic, I ended up losing most of that business, about like 90% of that business.
Mm-hmm.
So I had I got three kids, I got a wife, and one of my kids is special needs.
Okay.
He's autistic, so my
Mhm.
wife stays at home with him. And I was like, man, I need to make some money. The only way I knew how to make money is get a job. So
Right.
I got a job as a counselor for like at-risk kids, like for foster care, higher at-risk kids for foster care.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that job, and I purposely got an overnight job.
Right.
So I was like, during the overnight job, I'm gonna do Skillshare. I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I'm gonna learn something new,
Mm-hmm.
and just get paid to study, basically, right?
Right.
And I had a Turo. I had like three cars on Turo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a few cars on Turo, and then they would come back with rock chips,
Mm-hmm.
and I would hire, I don't know if I could say names, but I hired the biggest company of all to fix them,
Right.
and they were not fixed.
Right.
They would still break out, and I would
Mhm.
have to get a new windshield. I'm like, dude, I paid like $170 for this.
Right.
So I went on Amazon. I found the kit. Uh, I started doing it. It didn't really turn out too well, but at least it didn't crack out all the way.
Right.
And there was this little lady that I worked with, and she was like, David, I have a big rock chip on my car. Can you help me? I was doing overnights with her. I'm like, sure, Miss Shirley. I would go out, I fix it for her. And she's told me, she's like, you should charge for this.
Right.
And I was like, oh shoot, I should.
Right.
And that day I put up some Facebook ads, some offer up ads,
Mhm.
and I had like four clients that first day. Like ever since, it's been nonstop, like nonstop, keep on going, clients, clients, clients. So
Mhm.
it's been a blessing, man. I had no idea I was gonna do rock chips. I didn't even know that was a thing,
Mhm.
and it kind of just landed on my feet. And I used to take a piece of glass, a
Mhm.
laminate piece of glass, like a 1 feet by 1 feet square,
Mhm.
to work.
Right.
And I would take, the rock chip maker, and
Yeah.
literally in the middle of the night, all you hear is bing, 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 and I would just work on rock chips all day.
Nah, there you go. That's a great story, of just learning, like, you gotta, in these days and age when something go wrong, you gotta pivot, try to find work, but also, like,
Yep.
using all the different platforms to learn and figure out what can make money, like even doing vending machines, that's a lucrative thing also, but just finding something that's lucrative to do and that you can make money for. So Miss Shirley told you like, "Hey, you should charge for this." So you start charging. Did you have an initial vision once you got going doing like windshield repair, or what was the initial thought
I was,
process?
I was just desperate.
Mhm.
Like, I was desperate. Anything that sounded like a dollar, I was there.
Right.
Like anything that my pastor wasn't gonna yell at me about, I
Mm.
would do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So um, no, I had no vision. But once I started charging, I was like, wait a minute, people really need this.
Mhm.
And to tell you the truth, like not
Mhm.
many people know how to do rock chips. That's the
Right.
craziest thing. Like you could go to all these like windshield replacement guys,
Yeah.
and I guarantee you like 95% of them have no idea how to really fill in a crack.
Yeah, nah, that's really true when it comes to windshield repair just in general. Like the general population don't know about windshield repair. So that's why I'm big on you always got to educate your customer of what windshield repair is, what to expect from it, what the results will be, because they've seen a commercial or something, think it's supposed to disappear. So for me, a big part of the job is always education to let people know what kind of
Oh,
damage they have and what to expect through windshield repair. Because a lot of people really truly don't know when it comes to consumers, but you also right, a lot of people in the auto glass industry some don't even do windshield repair. So yeah, it's all to me, it's always big on educating people.
yeah, they all use like the automatic machines and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Um, they don't know how to pop a crack. They don't know how to fill in like lines.
Hmm.
They just kind of like DIY kit it,
Yeah, yeah.
in a simple terms. And you know, if you're gonna be using professional stuff, if you use Delta,
Hmm.
uh, you can't have that.
Yeah, now you gotta want to master your
All
craft
that
and hone
pressure.
it in, right? And talking
Yeah.
about mastering your craft, here you are at night doing practice repairs to master the craft, right, and learn more and do more. You get on the social media groups, and you're learning more. You're asking questions, and you're doing that, and now you've become a trusted name in windshield repair, right? So, like, I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
a post you posted. It was a text message you got. Somebody was like, "I'm in WV," and you like, "Hey, what's WV?" Right? And
I had no idea, yeah.
yeah, you like, I don't know what that mean, right? Volkswagen, like, what's up here, right? But they were in West Virginia and they saw your videos, right? And that shows from, displaying your work and showing what you're doing to become a trusted name and just also letting people know what you do. So tell me a little bit more about like how you online, how you let people know what you do. How you're to me, in my opinion, you're a true example of a closed mouth don't get fed. Like just Friday, you
Yep,
made a post
doesn't.
like, "Hey, bye bye crack. We do fleet accounts. We will service your fleet." So tell me a little what goes into like that side of things of becoming a trusted name in windshield repair.
The beautiful thing about windshield repair, for anyone that's just starting out, is that everyone has a windshield.
Right.
For the most part, almost every adult basically has a windshield. Some of
Mhm.
them have several windshields,
Right.
you know? So everyone's a potential client,
Mhm.
And I wrote down in December my goals for this year.
Mhm.
And one of my goals was to get at least 2 fleet accounts. I have
Right.
one already
There we go.
at a Tesla place, and
Mhm.
basically all he does is sell like gets used Tesla. So we
Mhm.
do all the rock chips, all the replacements for them.
Right.
And I'm trying to look for one more. I'm hoping for a rental company. But my goal since I started doing business, I haven't worked for anyone like for such a long time. Besides that one time when I was doing
Mhm.
the overnights, is that you have to know as many people as you can.
Right.
So I have no shame in adding people if I
Right.
think that there's some kind of degree of friendship. Like if they have a mutual friend, I'll add them. I'll
Right.
add whoever.
Mhm.
I'll try to get as many likes as possible because I feel like when the time comes, they'll tell you, they'll be like, I don't know how we're even friends on Facebook. I don't even know how we know
Right.
each other, but I got this rock chip and I see you do rock chips.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't know either. I haven't, I
Uh-huh.
didn't, purposely add you randomly, like,
Mhm.
but
Right.
you gotta do what it takes in order to
Mhm.
get your name out there. And once you have an X amount of people, somebody knows somebody.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
fleet account is because I don't know anyone that works at a fleet account, but I know that I have like 10,000 followers on Facebook.
Mhm.
So maybe somebody knows somebody, and
Right.
I actually got like 2 messages back, one from
Mhm.
like a security guard,
Mhm.
and then one from Avis,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the airport, which that one should be really good. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping to get that account too.
There you go. Let's manifest it. Let's speak it into existence. Let's ask for it. You
Yep.
like they say, prayer without works is dead. So you got to pray for it and do
Yeah.
your part to
100%.
try to go get that thing, man. So let's speak
Yeah.
that
I'll
into
get it.
existence, and hope you get a second. We got plenty of time before the year ends, but shout out to you for crushing your goals on that, right? So
Thank
let's
you.
go back a little bit. Starting windshield repair, right? You started with it. Everything ain't peaches and cream in any line of business you get into, from vending machines to windshield repair to even becoming a locksmith or whatever it may well be. It's some challenges and some obstacles, right? So when getting started with windshield repair, what were some of the challenges that you faced and that you overcame?
Um, the hardest thing is just not knowing anything. Like I didn't know what tools to get. I
Mhm.
didn't know how to fix them. And you know what? I can't announce his name
Mhm.
uh, because he asked me not to. But
Yeah.
I had a gentleman see me just same thing like you, man.
Yeah.
I've been trying my best to
Mhm.
get to know and hone these skills,
Right.
and my skills weren't complete. Like he was always saying, he's like, "Hey, your skills are like 90%." He's like,
Right.
"But if you fly out to Texas, I'll teach
Mhm.
you."
Right.
And I was like, "Dude, when are you free?" And like really randomly, he said,
Mhm.
"I'm free in 2 days."
Right.
And I was like, "Well, I'm coming." I got
Yeah.
my plane ticket. I
Mhm.
went over there. And when I showed up, this is the craziest thing. He couldn't tell me his address.
Right.
He couldn't tell me, all I saw was like an AI image of him.
Mhm.
And, I was telling my wife, I'm like, well, I'm pretty big. So if he tries to rape me, he's gonna have a fight. And he's like, you don't know nothing about this guy. I'm like, I trust in God. We're gonna do this. He's gonna
Right.
teach me. He's
Mhm.
like, well, he didn't give you, he would tell me like, get a hotel next to this place.
Right.
Cause he couldn't say who he was. It was really weird stuff, right?
Right. Right.
I showed up and this guy taught me how to do long cracks.
Mhm.
He taught me how to pop a crack, which is
Right.
like I think like popping a crack is like
Yeah.
a whole different level. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
once
work
you
of art.
get to a
Yeah.
point where you got yeah, once you get the point where you can pop every single one,
Mhm.
to stop a long crack, it's like you're on a whole different level, you know?
Right.
So I stayed there for like a day
Mhm.
and he taught me for absolutely free, and that's why
Right.
I can't say who he is.
Right.
And he changed my whole life, man. And he couldn't believe, he was like, I must have asked 50 people to come. He's like, you're the first one to show up.
Right.
And he's like, and you showed up within like 48 hours. I'm like, dude, I
Right.
would have showed up in 2 hours
Right.
if you told me, because I feel like you a lot of people they wait and they miss out
Mhm.
on these great opportunities,
Right.
you know, and sometimes you just got to seize the moment. Because me going there in 48 hours, let's
Mhm.
say he didn't have another open appointment for 6 months, I would have been 6 months while learning how to do
Yeah.
proper long cracks.
Right.
That's a lot of revenue right there that I'm losing.
Mhm.
So that's the way I saw it. I was like, if I don't go right now, I'm gonna
Mhm.
lose thousands of dollars.
Right. Yeah, now
So
you
we went
gotta
right
act
away.
on it and go
I'll
with
do it.
your gut feeling and if you're a believer and got faith, you know what I mean, like anything is possible. So shout out to you and shout out for him for actually helping you and training you and getting you right on that end. So
Oh yeah.
you mentioned having about 10,000 followers on through all the social media platforms. So
No,
with
that's just
using
on
social
Facebook.
yeah, with
I
his
think
social
all the above.
mm,
I don't know, man. Like on Instagram today,
mhm.
because it does like a 30-day update of how
Right,
many
right.
people are viewing and stuff. I
Mhm.
think on Instagram alone, I get like 80,000.
Yeah,
My goal was like 50,000 between Facebook and Instagram, but I
right.
think together it's like 130,000 in the last
There
30
you go.
days.
So with that
Yeah,
being like
man.
over 100,000, over 130,000 followers and stuff, how does social media play into the business? And how does that help you a lot? I know you post a lot, you post content, but do you see like a real big benefit from it, or is it still like word of mouth, or like I know all help, but how big is social media and part of the business for you?
Oh man, I got you, man. What are you talking about? I got the best in the business helping me out, man. You know, I
Nah,
got
there
you,
you go,
bro. What are you
brother.
talking
Yeah.
about? So social media helps out because it gives you like validation to your clients, right?
Right.
So let's say like if I have a client that's like kind of
Mhm.
iffy going between me and somebody else,
Mhm.
I'll be like, hey, by the way, follow my Instagram. And they'll
Right.
see the Instagram like, oh, this guy's legit. So they'll hire me at a
Mhm.
little bit of a higher rate than everyone else
Right.
just because they know that I could do the work.
Right.
You know, that helps. I do get a lot of random people asking. Um, I don't know. It just gives you like more verification, you know,
Yeah, now I
I
agree.
think.
Social media, when you online, your presence alone, like they see it, it gets in the algorithm, and they see that, oh, this is the name, bye bye crack. Okay, cool. What about them? Then they go click media and they say, oh wow, video out the video out the video, photo out the photo. They like, okay, he's a trusted name. Let me use them. And then when they contact you, you know, like, hey, I'm not gonna disappoint when we in person now. Like it's time to get busy. I'm gonna
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
good repair. And now that word of mouth goes on. So I agree with you. Social media is it can be extremely helpful. Word of mouth can be extremely helpful, and you'll be good to go on that end, right?
100%. And the thing about social media though that's really cool is it keeps you fresh in other people's minds. So
Mhm.
like when you do have followers, right? I think between all my platforms followers, I probably have like
Yeah.
30,000 or something
Yeah, yeah.
that follow me consistently.
Mhm.
So if they're looking at your videos every day, maybe even twice a day, they start seeing cracks everywhere, you know?
Right.
And then I've had people call me and be like, sometimes I touch the crack and I say, bye bye crack. Cause it's
Right.
like, so like every time I work on a crack, I'm like, all right, guys, let's say bye bye this crack. And I'll touch the crack when it's done. I'll be like, bye bye crack. And
Yeah.
then it gets into their mind where like every time they see a crack, they think bye bye crack.
Yeah, now that's that
And they'll call
tagline.
me and
You gotta have the branding and the tagline bye bye
you got to
crack. And
have
now
the
you had a
brand, man.
video recently I seen you was working on the Subaru, I believe, and you didn't show her the repair, right? You was like, go find it. And she was looking and couldn't find the finished repair. So like that's really fulfilling when you do the work and then they can't find the crack and you're like, there you
Yeah,
go,
I'm
bye
like, go
bye
ahead,
crack.
find the crack. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I had another guy with a Tesla go, oh yeah, I see it. It's right here. I'm like, dude, that's the other side of the windshield, man.
Right.
It's right there on the bottom. Those are the
Nah.
best videos. I always I wear these meta glasses, super helpful. But I
Mhm.
always tell them like, look, I'm doing video, so just to let you know, like, if you're okay with being recorded, and most of the people are like, yeah, let's do it,
Yeah.
you know. They don't
Yeah.
care. So,
Yeah.
either their voice or their face sometimes, and it
Yeah.
really helps, man. It brings validation to the video, so it really
Yeah.
helps. But you always wanna keep yourself in other people's minds, That's the number
Right.
one thing, like, this is free advertisement. Like, we're
Right.
so lucky that we have Instagram and Facebook, and we don't have to pay for ads on TV
Right.
as the little guys,
Yep.
So you gotta take advantage of it. Do a video every day, who cares if people watch or not? Just
Yep.
be consistent,
There you
and you'll
go.
start noticing what people like, and then, always throw up the tagline, always
Yep.
throw up, always tell them who you are,
Yep.
and it starts going, man. We had a video, last month that reached, like, close to 2,000,000 views,
Right.
and so that one brought in a lot of clients.
Mhm.
Every once in a while you hit a jewel.
Yeah. Now you got to
And
keep
it's
the
fun.
branding. You got to be on par with the branding. And like you right now, you got on the shirt, you got on the hat. And I always tell people document what you got going on. Because you got to let people know, let the world know. It's always like I'm here to reintroduce myself. I know what I do, but the world doesn't know
Yep.
what I do, and the community and that I'm in doesn't know what I do. So I got to keep reintroducing myself. And I tell people work like the rent do. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, and then, you are your branding, right?
Yep.
So everywhere I go, "Hey, bye bye crack, bye bye crack." Like, people at church go up to me, they go, "Hey, bye bye crack."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, it's the branding." So you are the branding. You're not just the face of it, you are the branding. So
Yeah.
how you react to your clients, how, how you hold yourself up in front of new people,
Hmm.
all that stuff, they're gonna see that as the brand.
Right.
So if I ever end up hiring somebody, which I think I will next year, that's the
Okay.
goal.
Hmm.
Um, is they have to meet that brand too. I want them to spend, I've seen the timelines for the bigger companies,
Right.
and they're like, okay, you can only spend 10 minutes talking to a client. I'm like, no, you're gonna get 30 minutes.
Right.
You gotta find out, find out when they're, where they got married.
Right.
Find out
Right.
something deeper in there. So, because those relationships are what really builds a brand.
Yeah.
Your
Now
your
you're right. Yeah.
personality is what builds a brand.
Yeah, you're right. People buy relationships, right? And then you just so happen to do windshield repair, but people buy relationships and you build them, and you learn along the way. Like we was texting the other day about a guy who's been married since 1982. So like,
Yeah, yeah,
why
yeah,
not
man.
learn about marriage? And hey, what's the recipe to be married that long? So I can learn, so I can get better. You know what I mean? But also along the way, you can tell them something and
Yep.
give them comfort. And it's a learning situation for both parties involved, but also you making money and turning it into a business, right? So
Oh, one thing is, I give a shout out to Delta. That light that I got from you guys, the Elite,
yeah,
dude. I went there and it was already worked on. All the cracks were worked on. It didn't look good, right? So he
yeah,
thought it was already cracked.
right,
And I saw a couple pictures like, oh, I think they're cracked too. But the
yeah,
reality, they were already fixed, just bad
yeah,
resin or whatever the case might be.
uh-huh,
But they didn't put a pit filler.
right,
So literally, I went out there. I got paid like, he gave me a tip, so it's like $90.
right,
And I pit filled 4 of them, and I used
right,
the light, I
uh-huh,
got from you guys.
yeah.
I was like, I never made, $90 in a minute.
There you go.
I
Yeah, that's
literally
it.
it's like
Yeah,
that thing like cured so fast, like ding, 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 I'm done, $90. And then
yeah,
that's why I had a little bit of time, and he was telling me he's Christian, what church he goes to. He's
mhm,
from Connecticut, his wife's from South Central,
right,
and they ended up here in Orange County, and
mhm.
he told me the whole nine, so it was
Yeah.
great.
Nah, that's what's up. And the light he's referring to, yeah, I will put a link below, but it is our Elite Plus. It does 12-volt, 120-volt, and has a built-in battery pack, and you get about 90 minutes of life with it. But it's a great light. So yeah, but shout out to you for
It's
using that and for
great.
and for liking the light.
Dude,
And
that light is crazy, bro. Like I use the other other brand's light,
yeah.
and I was telling him like sometimes it takes like 3, 4 minutes. I didn't think my long cracks,
Mhm.
when I leave, I'm like, I think it's dry. It's all good, like because the
Right.
light tells you when it's supposed to
Yeah.
be dry, right? And
Right.
I'll show up like 4 or 5 months later, I'll look at it, I'm like, hey, do I have to refill this thing?
Yeah.
It's because the light didn't cure it all the way.
Right.
So I had time to, leak out or whatever, but when I left. So
Mhm.
now when I use the Elite, it's like, dude, this thing is harder than a rock, man. We're
There
good,
you
you
go.
know?
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
shout out
that
for
thing is
helping.
so solid, man.
Yeah, now glad it's working out for you. And before I get you out of here, I know you got a lot of work to do and you got a job behind you. But last question for you: for anyone getting started in windshield repair, what's a tip that you would give them for if they're just getting ready to get started? You got a tip or multiple tips for people getting started with windshield repair? Something to consider.
One thing is don't be scared.
There you
You
go.
know, put some money in your pocket, like
Mhm.
maybe leave like $1,000 or something if you
Mhm.
can, $800, 500, but it doesn't matter,
Right.
right? For that broken windshield. You
Yep.
gotta break a windshield, you know, and most likely if you're doing windshield repair first, you're not gonna know how to do replacements. Maybe meet a replacement guy or something. You can forward him the work
Right.
and get a little kickback or something.
Right.
But you gotta break a windshield.
Mhm.
That's a given. You know, you don't know like temperatures well. You don't know how much pressure you're gonna need. You gotta break a windshield. So have a little bit of money for that. But whatever you do, do not be scared to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
I have so many people contacting me saying, "Oh, I bought this kit. I bought this kit." And 6, 7 months later, I'm like, "Have you done a windshield yet?" Like for somebody
Yeah.
else, "No, I'm still practicing." I'm like, "No, you
Yeah.
need to go out there and just do it." Like,
Yeah. Now
it,
practice
don't let the
makes
fear get you.
perfect. Practice will make perfect, but the number one thing you say, scared money make no money. So if
Yeah,
you
scared
got to
money,
get
no
started,
money.
you got to start somewhere. And I tell people you got to grow as you go. So if you start just kind of like you were, hey, I'm starting, I'm learning, I'm doing these repairs overnight. I'm gonna get better, but I got to get out there. And once you get out there and you get going, you get to documenting what you're doing. You're gonna
Hmm.
you're gonna make it. It's no timeline on it on like how long it takes, but you will get comfortable with the repair process and then business will come. You know what I mean? But yeah, I appreciate you for that advice because don't be scared, practice, ask questions.
Yep.
A lot of people they
You
don't
got to
ask
go out there and do
questions
it.
and you keep to yourself, but it's a community from your equipment manufacturer to even on the Facebook groups to actually help
Oh
you
yeah.
because we all want to encourage technicians to do the best possible repair.
Or go take the Delta class, do whatever you got to do, but you got to start.
Yeah.
It's a very lucrative business. I
Yeah.
mean, I've been doing it since May of last year.
Right.
That's all I've been doing it. And really, I don't want to say how much I make,
Yeah.
but let's just say on this phone, on this little chat that we've been doing,
Yeah.
I've had 4 people call me already.
Yeah, nah, that's
So
why for those who
that's why I had to
watching why
call
it
the
went
office. He
black
said
for a
people are
second
calling
was
me.
because calls are coming in, that's money coming in. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
you
just
for you.
because it's
Yeah,
it's because it's 8 o'clock. So I listed at 8 o'clock. So right when it hit 8 o'clock, they're like, "Oh man, I gotta get my windshield fixed."
yeah.
So
Now well
that
I
I have
appreciate
another I have one more really
Mhm.
good thing that I always tell everyone.
Yeah, go for it.
Get a QR code,
Right.
put it on your screensaver, right?
Uh-huh.
When you meet a client, ask them right there and then, be like, "Hey, can you please write me a 5-star review?" I don't say 4. I don't
Yeah.
say write me a review. I'm like, write me a 5-star review,
5-star review. Yep.
and I have them scan the QR code on my phone and write it
Mhm.
right there.
Yeah.
They'll put a Google review right there,
Mhm.
and then once you get over like 30, 40 5-star reviews,
Mhm.
then you use your Google ads,
Right.
right? Then you use some Google ads, you pay for some Google ads, and those Google ads will only link to those 30, 40 5-star reviews.
Right.
And then next thing you know, look around at all the glass shops on Google. None of them got 5-star reviews.
Right.
So you're gonna be the only one with all 5-star reviews, and then those Google ads are gonna lead you to those reviews,
Mhm.
and it's like instant work, bam, 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 bam. It's like they all automatically trust you.
Yeah.
You know, so I was lucky enough. Now I have like 140 5-star reviews,
Right.
so it's like undeniable who they should hire when they have a crack on their windshield.
Nah, there you go. Well, I appreciate you for your time, for your advice on the technical side of it, the marketing side of it. Shout out to you for taking time to helping other people and for growing Bye Bye Crack for where you at right now. You coming up on your 1 year anniversary for doing this, and you're crushing it, brother. And I just
Oh
wish you
yeah,
nothing but the best. And I hope, wish,
thank
and
you,
pray
man.
you get that another fleet account and that you are able to actually hire that employee next year. So keep speaking out, keep praying about those things and speaking it into existence, brother.
Uh, one more thing, man. So anytime you work on a crack,
Uh huh.
I know this is not laminated glass,
Uh
but when
huh.
you're done, you clean it,
Right.
then you go like this, bye bye crack.
There
Because
you go.
once you hit it with the bye bye crack, 90% of it disappears, bro.
There we go.
That's what you got to do. If you don't do that, then I don't know how well your crack's gonna turn out. But once you tap it and say bye bye crack, you already know it's gonna look better.
There we go. Well, I appreciate you for your time, brother. You take care and you crush it for the
You
day
too,
and
man.
return those calls and get that business, man.
Yeah, let's go. All right,
All right.
brother. Have a good
Take
one.
care, man. All right. Bye.